Dr. Ngozi Orabueze launched what she calls the Biafran Embassy in the United States of America. What is your perspective about that?
It's a good development towards the struggle. I used to show the world that you are building a structure where the whole world can trust and see that yes, these people really want to be a nation on their own. So that is what I see in that move. So in other way, it is also a right direction in the struggle for popularizing the Biafran nation to create more awareness to people. You want to have a business or you want to partner with the government, we see a place where you can reach them, not online as people are calling us. So it is now a reality for the world to see that true Biafra is going to stay.
Okay, Biafra has come to say. Now the question is, does the United States government recognize Biafra as a sovereign state? Because that is the one of the conditions for any country to allow you establish an embassy. You know, there's a difference between liaison office and embassy. Embassy means is a state versus state affairs. That such state has recognized your existence and independence as a sovereign nation. So I went to the US website, I couldn't see anything of such. So what exactly is happening? If US have not recognized Biafra as an independent entity, how possible could they have allowed Biafra in quotes that is yet to be established, even in their hometown or home country, to float embassy in their territory?
Well, if they are not recognized Biafra, if haven't recognized Biafra, they wouldn't have allowed such structure to be in their state capital, which is Washington DC. Are you getting me? So it's it is a new office. As time goes on, those things will become they'll put them in place where other people they're supposed to put others, like a website, American website, a government website, the embassies in those countries. You see them. Even most of other countries that has the embassy in the US, not all of them you'll find in the website of the United States embassy website. So it is a gradual process. The main thing is that they have had the permission of the government of the US to allow them to establish their embassy in their state capital. In fact, that is the result, and it is a gradual process.
For instance, if you Google the embassy of country that has the embassies in Nigeria, you'll be able to see it in this world of technology. So if you Google the countries that have embassies in America, Biafra should have appeared. So, but that is not the case. What exactly is happening? And the masses needed to know the veracity of such claims, or are the people being deceived? Because you can't tell me you have an embassy without establishing your home country. So, where exactly is that government of Biafra? Is it an invisible or a virtual government? Because even in the territory defined, Biafra is being occupied by the Nigerian government and its institutions.
My brother, I don't know what you mean by the government has not been established. Are you expecting a pullover of the former territorial occupants overnight to move out of the territory immediately? It doesn't work like that. It started gradually. Everything will fall in place. Like those countries you mentioned that has their address in website where you can find their embassy in the US. In which year did they establish their embassy? And which year did they put their address in website? That is what.
Once there is an approval, that is official. Where there's a formal recognition and endorsement of recognizing a sovereign state, it doesn't take an eternity to do that. You could establish that in a confirmed official, real official website of the US. Now, again, what Mazen Samonipa said, we establish a license office that will enable us negotiate, lobby for recognition, and not to serve as an embassy. Now, after the recognition, definitely such embassies, license office could be converted to embassies. And you have no authorization to establish embassies in a country you have no diplomatic ties.
It's like you are standing as a judge. You are standing as a
No,
judge.
that is you can make your findings in the internet. The procedures of establishing an embassy.
You understand the difference between governments of the state, the established government, and the government in exile, who operates in exile, which has a license office. Why the embassy is for the office of the sitting government, the newly established new government. That is their office. It's a quite different entity on their own. I get me. So those license office they established are still existing. That open door for new negotiation. But embassy is for you as a citizen of a Biafra who lives in US or every other country, that you can go there and lay your complaints. Are you getting me? Or acquire some documents that is necessary. That is where you get all those things. It's not a place where it can. It's like it's not a beer parlor. Are you getting me? License office is where you sit and invite people to negotiate for your freedom, which the what that is what Biafra in exile mean. Are you getting me? So whatever business they have done to they have acquired through the government of exile, then you can now bring it on the table of the embassy of the government. So that
I
is
think you can have a license office and an embassy in the same country. As you said, license office what is established to have, of course, a negotiation, lobbying, and communication between the state and the entity for recognition. Now, the question is Biafra independence or sovereignty being endorsed by American government
if
as
they
it
have not
stands now?
endorsed it, if they are not endorsed it, they wouldn't have allowed such structure to be there. They wouldn't have.
You have any proof regarding that? Because we cannot find any such in
Proof
US.
is that the proof is the website, whether they are in website they are not in website, that does not give you the proof that this country this particular country has been established. But the main issue is that if they are not recognized by government, why did they allow them have such structure in the capital? Remember, the license office of Biafran exile is not in the capital. It's not in the Washington DC. So it is just there is the difference. Are you getting me? Like Lagos, when the Lagos was moved out of capital of Nigeria, those embassy moved to Abuja. So that is the difference. So automatically, as you are seeing the Biafran embassy in the capital of US, automatically it is being endorsed by the government.
Now, as
But
you believe in the government of Ngozi Orabueze,
I believe
now where exactly currently can you define as the Biafran territory? Because one of the conditions for you to be recognized is to be able to define your territory and, of course, occupy such territory. Have your military that can defend that and being established within those territories. You have control of those territories. So, which area now would you define as Biafran territory within Nigeria?
the Biafran territory,
That is being controlled and run by Nigeria Biafran government.
the Biafran territory comprises 40 states, which all of us know is aware. Are you getting me? Correct. Those states have their governors and mayors that control their cities. Are you getting me? Now,
Can you visit any of the office of the governors? Is it established? Are they in control of those territories? Do they have their secretariat and all that? Or is it
That is why.
floating?
Can you please tell me how old is the government that you expected to have all those things overnight? Can you please tell me how old is the government? It is a gradual process. This is all just like just 6 months. Are you expecting everybody everywhere to be? No, it is a gradual process. All of us cannot move at go once. Okay, from example, people in Lagos. We are talking about people developing the east for years, but as for over 20 to 30 years they have been campaigning for this. But at this period we begin to see the manifesto of those campaigns through the development that is coming to east now. So that's how those things work. It's not something you can just do overnight. We are not animal, we are human beings. And moreover, we are operating in a democracy system of government, which everybody has their opinion. If you believe that you are a Biafra, fine. If you are say you are not a Biafra, where you are still Igbo, no problem. Are you getting me? But as time goes on, we realize the truth. So that is the point. As time is going on, everybody will begin to queue in the same line. You see all those Nigeria, you can still see Nigerian forces moving around the territorial of Biafra, but that doesn't mean they are the owner of the land. They are
We are
just
not talking about the owner. We are talking about,
no, we
you
are,
said
I know where they are going.
an established state must be in control of her territory.
How
Now,
do you
if you
how do you
claim that,
control your
no,
territory?
no, if
How
you
do you
claim that
how
the
do you define
United
the
States of
control
Biafra
of a territory?
has been fully restored, according to your argument, then it means you are in charge of the territory, you command the territory, you have a surveillance over the territory, and you are operational within that territory.
Please, I want to ask you a question. You know the Biafran Heroes Day that was recently commemorated. Please, can you please tell me how did they celebrate it? How what happened? What event did go on? And who was was in charge of those events? You see, you see how Biafra unanimously endorsed the sit at home, and the government of Nigeria, who has like an opponent, said otherwise, claiming that they're in charge of the territory. And the day of the celebration, you see what happened. So that is how to define the owner of the land. That is government for you. People are determined to follow who they want. All those things, the other things you are seeing, like I'm not, Biafra has not been controlling their territory. It's because people that carry guns in their uniform are still visible in the land. They're claiming because they are there, they are controlling the territory. No. How do you control the territory? You determine how you develop. You determine how to run your business. So that is how to define government. For example, that sit at home shows the whole world that true Biafra is around.
Yeah, sit at home is simply a civil disobedience to express a dissatisfaction over what is happening and to honor
And if
the heroes of the past. Biafra has a history.
and let us
So it is to observe those history, to recognize what has happened in the past, the pains and agony the Biafrans were subjected to, which is normal, before the Biafran state was intercepted.
okay. Those of you that believe that Biafra has not been in charge of that territory, I know most of you believe. What did they say before the commemoration of that event? They said there's nothing like sit at home. Everybody should go to their normal business, that this, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, what happened? People disobey them because they know what they want.
Yeah, it is not the first time it has been observed since after 1970. Now, the question we want to ask, Dr. Ngozi said the Biafrans can now go home to invest, to build Biafra. So, what exactly does she mean by that? If the Nigerian government is still occupying the supposed territory.
That is the sit at home demonstrated by Biafra. It's part of the go and develop your destiny. Find a way to develop yourself. How do you support the government of Biafra? Is by obeying the people that is in charge of the affair by sitting at home that day.
Who exactly is in charge of what you claim to be a government? Because we have Ngozi Orabueze and her cabinet. We have Oge Kere and his cabinet. Of course, Mazin Dabikano is standing trial. Simon Ipa, the prime minister, is standing trial. Who exactly is in charge of the said government? Because if an embassy is established, you must have an ambassador representing the states.
Well, the issue of having an ambassador or not, Ngozi Orabueze, I think his base is in US. They have not told you he's the president of the country. They have not been conducting any election. What they have is a prime minister of government in exile and deputy prime minister. That's what they have. Now, we are talking about people who are in the struggle. In the end of the day, you know those people you mentioned, did any of them counter the order of let's go and sit at home on 30th May? Is any of them against that position? That's what the question you should ask yourself. All of them unanimously agree.
Okay, is that the prime minister? Simon Ekpa is the prime minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile, and Ngozi Orabueze is the deputy of the prime minister. But Ngozi have denounced the Biafran Republic government in exile that she is no longer part of such, that had been abrogated. So how comes he emerged a deputy prime minister, which unfortunately was not even there?
Now, now he said, you remember that the declaration date, which meant to be started 29th to the 2nd of November, was endorsed by Simeon Ekpa, who is the prime minister of the government in exile. Now, in as much as that event was endorsed by him as a leading role of the event, now after the declaration, automatically he becomes the prime minister of that government, not only government in exile.
Okay, you are saying now that Ngozi Orabueze is now automatically the prime minister,
Deputy.
not even the deputy.
No, it is a deputy. The person who endorses it, which is Simeon Ekpa, is the prime minister himself. So the second in command, which is Ngozi Orabueze, automatically there is no dispute about that. I don't know why people are being arguing over this and this. You're not supposed to be talking all those things. My brother, as time goes on, truth begin to come out. There's an issue that be raised, and people in the forefront of this event has realized, most of them have realized the enemy behind the struggle.
Who exactly is the enemy?
They know themselves, and if you are in contact with the media, you understand what I'm saying. Most people, the people that Ngozi Orabueze suspended, both of the people who embraced them after the suspension, have even, in fact, they are begin to realize and begin to push those people away. You know those things.